All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of Notary Coach and author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent. And I'm here with my very special co-host, Jennifer Neitzel, founder of Marketing for Notaries. Hey, Jen.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? My name is Jen Neitzel, as Bill said, founder of Marketing for Notaries and co-creator along with Bill and Laura Biewer of the Notary Business Builder and the Trust Delivery Agent Certification Program.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Jen. Truly appreciate it. And Laura Biewer is our third host of Tuesday Notary Titans, and she should be sliding in here sideways any moment now. Tuesday Notary Titans is a call for you to ask your questions. We've got a nice growing audience today of notaries from around the country. And the most efficient way for this to work is to use the raise hand feature in Zoom. That could be in different places depending on the version and the device that you're on. But usually if you hover over my face with your mouse, little toolbar will pop up along the bottom and there should be a raise hand button. Click that button, and when we call on you, please, if it's not obvious what your name is, please tell us what your name is, what state you hail from, and jump right into your question. If we need some backup information or some backstory, we'll ask for that, but just ask your question and you can mute out. I'll volley that question to Jen. Sometimes Matt Miller will jump up here to Laura or myself, or sometimes you get perspective from all of us, depending on the question. And then hopefully everybody here benefits from that. Please also use this opportunity to connect with each other. Notaries need each other for support, for questions, for a hug sometimes. It's not easy work all the time. And the people on today's call can relate to your business. They can celebrate your wins. They can offer guidance when you need it. And if you see a question or if you got some perspective to add, please feel free to use the chat to add that perspective, add those resources, and really make this a valuable call today. All right, let's jump in. Jen, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Matt, you look ready too. I might have to call you up here too until Laura gets here, or even when Laura gets here. We love having you up here. So Andy, thank you so much for your patience.
Oh, sure. Thanks for taking my question, I guess. I'm Andy from Oregon.
All right.
And I am a certified trust delivery agent.
All right.
And I ran into a situation recently where a client was, we were going through a trust package and they came across the advanced directive and they didn't know how to answer the questions. And so, I mean, we were both staring at each other and he's kind of asking me, what should I do? And of course I can't give him any guidance. I said, just go through the questions and then initial next to, what you think is best. And he said, well, can I just sign it and have you notarize it and then fill it in later? I said, well, that's kind of a gray area in my book because they are signing it in front of me, but it does have to be completed when I leave here.
Yes.
So my question, I guess, is what would you do in that situation?
Been in that situation lots of times. So let's hear some perspective on that. Matt, you want to come up and share your perspective on it first?
Sure. Thanks, Bill. Great question, Andy, because as a trust delivery agent, you will encounter this frequently. And in my experience of doing trust delivery for years now, this particular document, I call it the hard one. I kind of make a little joke about it, actually. This one's going to make you think. And if they haven't already discussed these choices with their attorney, then yeah, it's going to come down to when they actually sign the document, particularly when it's a self-prepared document from like a downloadable site or whatnot. Yeah. And you're right, we cannot give any advice on that document at all, and it must be completed when you notarize it or before you leave, if you're willing to give them that grace. But I always let them know that, just because you make a specific choice today doesn't mean you can't change it tomorrow. And that seems to help them get through the document. Um, because I have witnessed many clients over the years redoing their healthcare directive, because in my personal experience, the younger the signer is, the more likely they are to want to um, choose for all possible measures to stay alive, and are willing to donate organs. The older the signer is, the less likely they are to want to take all measures to stay alive, and probably won't donate any organs. But that's just, some notary conversation. You can't really say that to your client. So that's how I handle it. I let them know that you can always edit it, redo it whenever you want, and it'll replace what you're doing today. But it's better to have something done today than nothing at all.
Thank you.
Bill?
Yep. Excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much, Matt. Appreciate that perspective. For me, I'll piggyback on what Matt said, because that's perfect. Two things for me though. I like to ask specific questions in the pre-screening process to help ensure that that document is filled out ahead of time. And if it's not, to let them know that it needs to be filled out ahead of time. That sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, right? It's the general public. So some people listen and some people don't. The other thing is, in those situations when you've got there, it's not filled out, and they kind of want to play with, they're like, oh, just sign and notarize it, we'll do it later. I like to frame it for their own safety and security. Like, this is important. If we were to do that, let's scope that out, and then somebody else makes a designation or a decision that goes against what you really want, then it doesn't serve the purpose of the document in the first place, which is to protect your wishes. So those are my two pieces of advice on that. Jen, anything that you would suggest on these two?
Andy, I think the only thing that I would add is along with what both Matt and Bill have said, I would also add in there, if you have any questions about this document, please feel free. We can take a break. Please feel free to reach out to your attorney who will, advise you. I can't. I'm not allowed to advise you. Please reach out to your attorney. Kind of like when you were a loan signing agent and we deflected all of our questions to the loan officer or the title company. This is sort of the same thing. You want to, make sure if they're truly confused about it and everything else you said doesn't work, that they reach out to their attorney.
Would you recommend then, if they do make a selection, but they leave, some, I think it's page 3 and 4, where they can write what's important to them and, their kind of their life story. Would you recommend slashing through that, or just leave it?
I don't leave anything blank on a document that I notarize. So it will get
just a quick line through.
It. Yeah.
I like to do the initial on that as well.
Initials. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, that's
initials.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
I try to paint the picture, like, walk this through. They're incapacitated. They can't make decisions on their own. Somebody else can come through and write whatever they want if they don't either write what they want or do a slash through it.
Yeah.
Right? So we're trying to protect their wishes and their rights. Without opening a can of worms here too, I think it's real important to, in your own state, to know what your state requires. If you are required as the notary to verify that an acknowledged document with acknowledgement is attached to a completed document, or a jurat is attached to a completed document, the states can be a little bit different on that, but you need to know that's going to be your responsibility on that.
Good point. Thank you.
You got it, Andy. Thank you so much. Great question. Way to kick us off. Laura,
yeah, great question.
I see that you just joined us. I'm making you a co-host. Come on up and introduce yourself.
Well, howdy, everybody. It's a great Taco Tuesday. Here I am in Modesto teaching, and I'm glad I have an opportunity to join you. I am Laura from Coach Me, Laura, and I'm on a mission to have confident and competent notaries, and most recently a co-author of a best-selling book, Beyond Loan Signings. Glad to see you all today.
Awesome. So glad you made it. Thank you for making that happen. All right, so I'm about to call John from California up here, and there's not a single hand after John. Am I ending this call at 15 minutes past the hour? Or do you have questions? Raise your hand. You've got years of experience in marketing, networking, client acquisition, client getting, writing, copywriting, emails, marketing, outreach, notary stuff, all that stuff, all here in one place. So bring your questions up. John, so good to see you. How can we help today?
This is actually a non-notary question,
Ooh.
but I've already looked all over YouTube and I can't find any help. 10 months ago, I bought the Raven Pro scanner.
Mm.
So what now? It's not going to work after December.
Well, mine's not working now, unfortunately, and I wish I had an answer for you. I have reached out as well. I had a fairly good relationship with them, and I don't have a response for you.
What's an equal product to that if I was so used to it?
Yeah, wow, good question. And I haven't begun my due diligence on that. So this is where I'm going to open it up to everybody on today's call. If you have found a scanner that you love to use, now, not like one that's like, yeah, it does the job, but one that you just love to use, if you could add that to the chat, and bonus points if you have a direct link to that product, either on Amazon or wherever it might be. Really appreciate that, because I'm going to need that resource as well, because I'm so bummed, John. I would find excuses to scan stuff. I love scanning with that Raven scanner so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bill. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you for bringing that to us. All right, Lorena, thank you so much for being here. Come on up. Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi, guys. I'm from Arizona. The question is in the marketing realm. Do you recommend, well, not recommend, I used Gmail as my email account to send emails. Do you think I should just use one that is more professional? You know, that's not Gmail. As a start, how did you guys start? Yeah, any recommendation on that? Is it big, people don't, is it people see Gmail and they don't?
Yeah, good question.
Just,
I love it. I love it, and I'm passionate about this. So I'll go first, and then we'll bounce it over, because I know Jen has an opinion on this as well too. But for me, like, we all started out with a free email account, so there's no judgment, there's no shame attached to that. You got to do what you got to do, right? And then that said, that's one of the first things I would do if you want to upgrade your branding and your customer experience, because I have been in offices with escrow officers where they see the email come through as Gmail or MSN, or what's the one that's
Hotmail.
AOL.
AOL.
If they see AOL, they're out of there. They're like, it just goes straight to the trash. The challenge is that some people do make judgment calls on that. There's nothing wrong with making a judgment call on that, because think about how much spam and scams that you receive. In fact, one of the ways that we as notaries differentiate a scam from a legit job is whether or not it comes from a professional email address or not. If we get a job offer and it has Gmail or Yahoo in it, we just delete it. We assume it's a scam. So you have a little bit of a risk for that. So my recommendation is, yes, get a professional email address through Gmail. I use Workforce through, or I think it's Workforce through Gmail, their professional version. It's like $5 a domain name or an email address. It's worth every penny, in my opinion. Jen, do you have an opinion on that?
I agree with you 100%. You got to move past the Gmail account. Just the perspective, just to put yourself in your customer's position, Lorena. If they were giving you an email address that had Gmail, would it impart professional confidence to you?
Right.
And there's your answer.
There you go. Laura, anything
thank you so much.
Same thing. Mine is Laura at coachmelaura.com, which is really the professional version of Gmail.
Beautiful.
Do you mind putting the link, Bill, the one you use for Gmail, that's more professional?
Yeah.
I think he's working on that right now, Lorena. That was a great question. Thank you so much. Can we take a moment to make a quick announcement, Bill, while you're getting that?
Please do.
All right, guys. So if you are a certified notary trust delivery agent, can you drop a 1 in the chat for me right now? Everybody that's a certified notary trust delivery agent, I want to see all those ones. Look at all that. That's amazing. I have some news for those of you who aren't ones on the call. Beginning December 1st, that's in 2 days. No, 3 days. 2 days? 3 days.
Don't make me do
What?
math.
Friday.
Friday. The price of the program is going up to $347, which is still an amazing discount over the retail price. As you know, we've kept it priced as low as we can for as long as we can. So starting Friday, the price goes up from $247 to $347. So if you are, I was just doing that too. If you are interested in becoming a certified notary trust delivery agent, now's the chance. Now's your time to save a little bit of money while becoming certified. Bill and I both have links in the chat for you guys to check that out.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for the reminder on that, Jen. Appreciate that. All right. Ayana, thank you so much for being here. If you want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in, and how we can help.
Good afternoon. I am in New York, and I actually have questions about more remote notarizations, or if you guys have any guidance. I recently got commissioned as an electronic notary, and I feel like I'm just a little bit confused as to like what now.
Yes, totally right there with you. Sure. Ayana, welcome, first of all. And then can you give me a little more idea of where you're at in the process? Like, have you identified a platform? You chosen a platform, you're ready for business, or are you a little further back than that?
So I have done some platform research. I have not really signed up for any platforms yet because New York is a little bit weird. Not everyone works with us. So I've kind of mapped that stuff out, like the platforms that I want to work with. I found some platforms that are hybrid in that they bring clients to you. You can also bring your clients to them. So I think that's the route that I want to go forth with. And that's where I'm at.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that. So you've got a clear path to being able to service a client, at least once you make your choice. So that's awesome. And I think we can offer some perspective here. In fact, Matt, I'm going to bring you up too for just a little bit of perspective on Ron, based on what you've heard and coached throughout the country as well. But one thing, Ayana, that comes clear as I coach through this. Now, I made the choice not to pursue remote online notarization because it just did not fit my business model. It's not what I wanted to do. When you make that choice to do it, the elements of business still apply no matter what. Your customers, your clients, your clientele are going to come from 2.5 places, right? When you do remote online notarization. If you do a hybrid platform where they will send you some customers, there's a trade-off for that, of course. And you will get a stream of theirs, but you might be locked into certain hours because they have customers they have to take care of. Plus, they're going to get the lion's share of the fees, usually. If you're going to do the hybrid, though, where you get to bring your own clients, then you got to work this just like any other business, right? Just like you're a mobile notary, just like you're a pizza parlor, just like whatever. You've got to generate your own leads, your own clients. And how you do that is the same process no matter what. It's your online visibility, which means you are boosting your search engine optimization, your website, your Google business profile, everything, and you're enhancing and optimizing those with the keywords and phrases that potential customers are going to be searching for that service on the internet. So if they're not looking for remote online notaries, I'll tell you that. They are looking for virtual notaries, online notaries, web notaries, things like that, more standard language, not the industry lingo. Then it also is going to come down to your professional relationships, your network. Just because you're performing the duties online doesn't mean that you can't be networking, whether that's on Zoom or in person, with attorneys, other companies, law firms, lenders, whoever else needs that service. You've got to get where those people are. Go to client getting events and start sharing your services and your value with those communities. And that's how you start generating your own client base, so you have somebody to service.
Okay.
Jen, you got something on that, Jen?
I do. I just didn't want to finish my thought. I think this is a great question. And I've been hearing a lot about remote online notarization lately, and people asking me questions about it. And I will say this: if you think that choosing Ron as part of your business, as your business plan, right, as it meets your business needs, if you think that's going to give you a break because you'll just be able to sit behind a computer and get clients that way, I'm about to burst your bubble. You're wrong. That's not how that works. You still have to go get your customers. There is no freebie when it comes to building that sustainable client base. So I know that wasn't your specific question, Ayana. I know that a lot of notaries think like, oh, well, I'm an introvert. I don't want to get out and have to meet people. So I'm just going to focus on Ron. And a couple of things happen there. You make no money, which, I mean, who goes into business to make no money? Well, not me. And you get really, really frustrated really quickly. And if you're going to put the time and effort into building a business, you have to follow what works. And that's relationship building and building up your online presence, like Bill said.
Awesome, Jen. Thank you so much. Matt, in your experience, what perspective do you have on this?
Well, I would agree with what Bill and Jen said. It's not an instant fix or an easy money. I would argue actually that to ramp up a RON business is even more difficult than ramping up a traditional notary business. But let's look at the numbers. So across the country, of the 48 or so states that have passed legislation and adopted RON, only 1.5% of notaries have become RONs. And that's because of a few factors. One, there are significant costs involved. Just because you have a laptop right now doesn't mean it's going to qualify. And then there's software fees. There are platform fees. There are background check fees. There are KBA fees. There are every time you apply your stamp fees. So it becomes very challenging to make a good profit at RON. And also the second one is that notaries who are doing this business, often the feedback is they become tech support over being notaries because people don't know how to use their cameras. They don't know how to click this or do that or whatever. So it becomes a whole other ball of worms that you didn't expect. And then lastly, the public really, isn't aware of online notarization. And those that are aware of online notarization don't have a favorable view of it because of the level of uncertainty when it comes to online transactions. And think about the transactions that are being notarized. The biggest purchase of your life, your home, your trust, your power of attorney, healthcare directives, documents that literally deal with life and death. Now, I'm not trying to discount the convenience of RON and the place it does have in the world, but I don't think that it's going to be the next big trend in the notary profession. I think that's trust delivery. So that's my opinion. Suss it out, see how it goes, and come back and let us know.
Yeah, and you great perspective here too, Matt, because I think you nailed the opportunity at hand, Ayana, which is exciting as well. because the masses don't know most of it they just don't know about it. And then there's the trust issue. But just like any new technology, anything new is scary, and immediately people say no to it. So we're at the cutting edge of something really big. So there could be huge opportunity for this in the future. So if you're laying the foundation for a future business, this is definitely something that's worthwhile, right? You can't pretend it's not happening if you don't like it, because it is happening. So there's a huge opportunity. And what I love about this too is that there are some notaries right now thriving in a huge way with remote online notarization. They found a way to dial it in. Those opportunities exist for every single person, but it still always comes down to online visibility and relationships. And in particular, some of these have amazing referral relationships, because there's a lot of notaries who don't want to deal with this, that refer their clients who want remote online notarization to notaries who love doing it. So build your peer network as well. Awesome. Laura, any perspective you might add on that real quick? I don't want to leave you out on that if you had something.
Yeah, my perspective is ditto to everything. I personally, of course, in California, won't have it till 2030 and will likely never do it myself.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura. Ayana, was that helpful?
Absolutely. That was so helpful. Thank you to all of you guys for that feedback. And yeah, I'm still very much excited. Um, I, I, I think it's an exciting new frontier, and I kind of missed out during the COVID wave. So I'm trying to, I'm just trying to catch up. So thank you guys. That was really, really helpful.
All right. My pleasure. Thank you so much for being here, and definitely circle back. Like Matt said, let us know how it goes. Shanice, welcome up. Come on up. Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi guys, so my name is Shanice. I'm in Sacramento, California, and mine is not a question. I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm out here in Sacramento, California. So if you need an accountability partner, I will be happy to be that for you.
Nice, Shanice. That's great. Thank you so much. There's so much power in having an accountability buddy. For
Yes.
sure. So thank you so much. And if you use the chat to put your contact information in there, I bet you'll have some takers.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Pam, also in California. Welcome. Come on up. Always a pleasure to see you.
Sorry, I just got off the phone. Yeah, well, first of all, I was a little confused when you were talking about the Gmail. Now I'm a little freaked out because I have a Gmail account. And now I'm a little worried that, that's not the right way to be.
Well, so do you have a professional Gmail account or? Okay. All right.
It's just, no, it's just no, it's just a Gmail account.
It's just Pam at Gmail. Right. Okay. So here, listen, like, I know this can be really overwhelming. So if it's not worthy of being on your plate right now, don't put it on your plate. Is it important? Yes, but everything's important, right? So
right.
Is it a priority? I don't know. Are you losing business because of it? We'll never know, because they
Right.
don't come back and say, I'm not hiring you because you have a Gmail address, right? It's just one of those things we have to eventually get to. So at some point, Pam, if you want to go next level, just like in your real estate business, they give you a domain for your email address because it makes a difference.
Yeah, I clicked on the link that you put in there.
Yeah, so that's the Google Workspace.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that where you would do that?
Yep, exactly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you just need
go
the
ahead.
basic one for that.
Just the $6 one?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other question was I've been having trouble, and I don't know. I had sent you a text the other day in regards to I was having trouble accessing the calendar. It keeps telling me, let's see, hold on one second. Let me find your text. It tells me that something's wrong. Hold on. Where is Bill?
I think you're talking about the Notary Business Builder live teaching and event calendar, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And when I clicked on it, here we go. When I click on it, it tells me, okay, rotate. It says, we're sorry, but you do not have access to this service. Your account is managed by an organization.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so
Shoot me a text, Pam, and we'll get you squared away.
Okay.
Do you know where the dashboard is?
yeah.
Yeah. So in the dashboard, when you click it, is that what's happening?
Yes.
Okay.
Or I also clicked on, I think when you send an email out,
Yeah,
and I've done that and it does the same thing.
that's so weird.
So
All right.
anyway, I wanted to ask.
Are you an Apple user, Pam?
I am.
All right, we'll get it squared away. Thank you so much. for
Okay,
letting me know,
thank
okay?
you.
Shoot me a text though to remind me, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All
Bye.
right, thank you. Hey Terry, come on up. Tell everybody where you're at and how we can help. Terry Golden.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, sure can.
Good. I am from Boynton Beach, Florida. I have a question that's different than the others. I was contacted by an attorney to meet him, and he's from Pennsylvania. He came here to do will, and actually it was for a husband and wife and trust and all the documents. And it took a long time. It took at least an hour and a half. There must have been 17 notarial stamps at least. And when I was leaving, he said, I will contact you. I said, okay. Now it's been 2 weeks. I've tried reaching him. And this was a gentleman, came in a suit. I mean, I look up his website, very professional. He's been doing this for very, very many years, etc. He does not get back to me. I just sent him an email. I've texted him. I had his personal cell phone. What do I do?
Terry, what are we contacting him for? Is this for payment or for follow-up marketing? Relationship.
I didn't say that. Right. Payment,
See-
because we haven't really discussed it in advance, and he looked at me a certain way, like I shouldn't ask now. So I was fine with that. I left without getting paid. That's all fine, because I trust people.
Sure.
But this is weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Have you sent an invoice that makes it easy for him to pay, or does he have to have a conversation with you?
Well, he texted me that when he was back in Pennsylvania, he would be sending me my fee. We never discussed it. Nothing since then. So I have texted him, I have called him, I've left messages, including today I left a message in his office, which was just a recording. And now I just sent him an email also. And I did say, perhaps I misunderstood and I'm supposed to contact your client. Now, that's the last thing he's going to want.
Right, of course.
So that's why I did that.
Have you sent him an actual invoice that makes it
No,
easy?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
That would be the first thing I would do, because make it so easy for him to pay. If you have Square, if you have QuickBooks, let him just pay you by credit card. Don't force a conversation. He may not want it. And because one of the challenges that I had run into is that sometimes they're thinking from a different pocketbook, where $200 or $300, they could wait 6 months for it and it could just show up and they wouldn't even notice. Right. So there's sometimes a little bit of a disconnect, especially if he flew to Florida for one of his clients to do this. So
He's so pleased with me and he's going to use me and, all that kind of baloney.
Yeah. Well, and it may not be baloney necessarily, because I'm sure you were great and I'm sure he would love to use you again. But again, this just comes down to making it as easy as possible for him to pay you. Okay. If you've got some link he can click and add his credit card, my bet would be that you get paid within 24 hours. Jen, Laura, Matt, any other suggestions that you might have to help Terry get paid?
I think the only thing I would say is Terry, I agree with everything that Bill said. I think you do need to get an invoice to him. I think it's a good opportunity for you to sit down and see what the lessons are here. And that is, and what's glaring to me is setting up payment terms, right, when you set up the job. And that could just be as simple as, if you have QuickBooks or something, forwarding that invoice. And like Bill said, if you make it easy for them, they'll get paid faster. And any kind of law firm any business any bit your business, you're going to want an invoice to pay it. You can call me all you want, but if I don't have an invoice, I've got to track things, you know, for my own benefit.
Right.
And that could just be the disconnect, is like, why is this lady calling and she hasn't even sent me an invoice? Like, they might be thinking that. So I would give them a little grace, right? And get that invoice sent. But I kind of agree with Bill after what you said about maybe I misunderstood. Bet you hear from him in a day or two here pretty
But
quick.
I'm kind of thinking, because he wanted to make sure his client was impressed.
Yeah. And how long has this been? Remind me.
I'm going to say it's about 2 weeks.
Okay. So we're still not in raise the
No,
red-
no, it's not terrible, but
Okay.
he just put on and I was there for at least an hour and a half. And
Well, and you got a holiday in there too, and it's cold in Pennsylvania. He's probably in no hurry to leave Florida, so he's probably hanging out a little bit.
I don't know. There's just something there that just is not right, and I don't know what it is, but we'll see what happens with that.
And it might be, and you got to trust your gut on that. But I love what Jen said. You know, learn the lessons. You know, sometimes we give attorney clients a little too much pedestal on that. We got to remember that they're still human beings. They're still clients. They're still sometimes unorganized. Sometimes they're just distracted. So we've got the same questions you would ask a regular client, you want to ask your attorney too. What's the plan for payment? And I will also I just want to tie this in there. One thing I've noticed is with attorneys, and I've learned to appreciate it too, is being able to pay an invoice on a credit card so I get points. That's a big deal. They love the status that comes with points. So if you send an invoice, they can use their platinum card for it or whatever it is to get those points. It does get paid faster.
Actually,
Matt, I saw you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry
to interrupt you. I was just going to say, I have never set up credit cards. I just have never needed to.
What's your accounting software that you're using, Terry?
Excel?
No, generally they pay me in cash by check or Zelle or Venmo, I guess. That's the way I generally receive payment.
Okay.
Something to look at, especially if we're going to elevate to the estate planning industry. They're going to have different expectations because everybody sends them an invoice. So if we want to play in that pool, we might have to get tools that make that easier. Matt, I'm sorry, I saw you unmute. What perspective do you have here?
I just wanted to add a couple of comments, and one is, you know, I saw some comments in the chat about collections and demand letters and such, which, you know, are helpful tools, but you can't even start that process until you have invoiced the client. So prepare an invoice, send it over to him, and then one suggestion I might make is underneath the total line, add a 1 to 2% late fee over 30 days or something like that. And that will help motivate them to get you paid as well.
Great suggestion. Love that.
All right. Well, thanks very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thanks for bringing that up. I love that question. Sparked a great conversation. And keep us posted next week, Terry.
Okay.
Thank you. Gisela or Gisela? It's probably Gisela Berkman. Come on up. Tell us what state you're in and how we can help. And you're on mute. You're still on mute. Gisela, you're on mute.
Mute.
There
Okay.
we go.
Sorry about that. I am from Orange County, California, and I've been a notary for almost 4 years, but I actually have been a notary for my employer. So I'm actually new to mobile notary and such. So my question is regarding the trust delivery agent certification. How long does that last? The reason why I asked that question is because the NNA, I was told that the NNA's loan signing agent certification is good for 1 year only. And I'm a little bit confused about the 1 year because our commissions are 4 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have any input on that, and let me
Sure.
know about the trust delivery.
Absolutely. I can't speak for the NNA's policy on that, but we knew that that was an aggravating point for many people in the notary community. So for the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent program, it's a one-time payment, one-time certification.
Okay.
So once you're certified, you're certified.
Right.
In fact, that will include also a lifetime profile on Godary.com, which is the directory that we promote to the estate planning community to hire trust delivery agents. So it's going to be there until you take it down.
Okay.
No additional charge, no annual fees or
Okay.
anything like that.
And don't forget Legacy Vault.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Plus the My Life and Wishes Legacy Vault, you get lifetime access on that too right now, which is amazing as well. That's
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
And then I have a follow-up question on that, on the certifications. My commission expires in February of next year, but the state of California is a little bit behind in renewing. I already passed my test, and I'm just waiting for the state to give me my new commission.
Yeah.
Should I wait to get my certifications until I get my new commission, or should I just go ahead and do it now?
I see no benefit in waiting at all because we're not going to be regulating that at all. And you could be literally certified in one day and you could start a whole new line of revenue for the next 3 or 4 months, right? And then you'll probably have your commission and you can just continue business as is. I don't see any reason to wait, especially at this price point.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Great question.
Check it out, Gisela, before the 30th. You'll save yourself $100 too.
Yeah, at least.
Or before
I heard
before
that.
the 31st, I should say. Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gloria, always a pleasure to see you. Come on up.
Hey,
How can I help?
Bill. Yeah, Gloria from California. I just wanted to very briefly touch back on the professional email. You know, the easiest thing in the world if you're in Google business page is to just get it off of that. Like my Google page is Street Legal Notary, and my email is gloria@streetlegalnotary.com. That's all you need. And there's no additional cost. So I know most people are on Google page.
Yes, the challenge is that you have to own that domain, and if it's done through Google, then there's no additional charge. But if it comes from somewhere else, there could be a charge.
Correct.
So I love that. Yeah, and that's really it's way easier. In fact, I just set up a new professional email for a new venture over the weekend, and Google made it so easy. I didn't have to do anything technical.
Yeah,
just plug in the
that's a
info
good thing
and
about
just
it. You can ride with that. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Great work.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up, Gloria. Appreciate that. Patrick. Man, I haven't seen you in forever. Great to see you on here. Come on up.
Oh, I'm here, Bill. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Hey, well, I'm in Kansas, but I wanted to Phil jump in real quick. Hi, Jen, and give a little plug for Phil. He's driving right now for our Zoom presentation here 5 minutes after TNT for Legal Shield. I know some conversations here that has happened with the demand letters, which I was going to kind of tell Laura's story real quickly, but as Matt had reminded me, you really can't do much until you've invoiced that client and gone through that steps. But, Laura got into with Legal Shield as far as not being paid for a couple clients and one letter from the lawyers and she got paid. So it's a great opportunity to protect yourself, your family, your business, and to potentially add another stream of income if that's something that you guys are interested in. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Phil starts out about 5 minutes after this TNT ends. And look forward to seeing everybody there.
Thanks a lot, Patrick. Thanks for being here. Yeah, good to see you. Marty, come on up. Cheers, my friend. Marty's in California. I can't hear you, Marty. Oh, Marty, I don't know if your audio is connected. I'll keep you here, though. We'll come back to you. Also, if you're asking about the access to the Legacy Vault, because I saw your private message, that's in the dashboard, the instructions with the coupon code to access that. That's in your NBV dashboard or in your CNTDA course material as well. So you can access that and you get lifetime access to My Life and Wishes. And if you have another question, stay here because I'll bring you back up once we figure out the audio part. Angela Pass, welcome. Come on up. Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
I'm Angela Pass, and I am in the state of Minnesota. And when the conversation was happening with Iran, my reasoning for being interested in becoming Iran was that the fact that I am in Minnesota, and if you know anything about Minnesota, you know what happens between December and April, May, or June. So I have the commissions. I am working with and trying to get on secured signing right now. And so I'm kind of in the playing field, so to speak, as to finding out what's going on. And then I forgot about the trust delivery. And so that's why I came here to hear some more about that, and trying to get into different angles where I can. And with the Ron, getting back to the Ron, I'm not expecting that to be the meat of my business. It's something more along the lines of, in the bad weather time, that I have an option. And I'm not gonna get stuck in the snowbank because if the client would be able to work online, I would be able to still do work and not be only shoveling snow.
That's a good plan. I love that.
So that's where I'm at. And I want to talk more about this trust delivery too, to see how that can work into. And I'm taking notes. And
wonderful.
So,
well, we're so glad you're here, Angela. Welcome to the industry. And I love your thinking. Like, that's one thing, being from Arizona, I don't think about the snow issue. But that's a really good consideration for
well, considering the fact that we hit #1 spot in the inches of last year, we broke our state record.
Good for you guys, overachievers.
140 some inches of snow we had.
Angela, is there a specific question that we could possibly answer for you about the trust delivery or about your business?
You mentioned a platform, or how do you I'm 247, is that to get access to all the trainings to do those? Is that what it's separate from NNA, obviously, correct?
Right, completely separate from the NNA.
Okay.
So the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent program is a collection of 4 modules, 45 lessons, all in one place, on demand. You can take it at your own pace. In addition to that, we have tons of downloads, sample documents, all that good stuff. It comes with a lifetime profile on Notary.com, which is the directory that I literally call out. Or starting Friday, we're launching a huge email campaign as well throughout the year to every single estate planning attorney in the country to help promote just the fact that there's these well-trained notaries eager to serve. Then, in addition to that, we keep up with the continued education. So Laura, Jen, and myself, we're answering your questions in the comments, but also on Mondays, we have the owners of an estate planning firm who come in. They talk about estate planning stuff to improve your vocabulary, strategize, all that good stuff. And John Braddock, the CEO of My Life and Wishes, the online legacy vault, his ideal client is estate planning attorneys too. So twice a month, he teaches you his strategies for how he kicks down the door to estate planning attorneys. So he shares marketing secrets, business, and all that stuff as well. So we created this little ecosystem just to help support you in getting the word out. Because, you know, earlier we were talking with Matt, we were talking about the opportunity at hand, right? With Ron, 80% of the population still doesn't know that remote online notarization is a thing that they can do. We're facing that same opportunity with attorneys, estate planning attorneys. They know notaries exist, but they don't know that there's professional mobile notaries who go through advanced training, who understand their environment, their documents, and are eager to serve and help them boost their impact and their income. So that's what we're working on all together to create that funnel of service. And that's the future. There's 33 to 150 million people that don't have an estate plan that need one. So we're just hitching on to that estate planning momentum and providing our services, because whether a person chooses to use an attorney to create a trust doesn't matter. They have to have a notary to complete the trust. There's going to be 6 to 8 notarizations, whether they do it themselves or they use an attorney. So that's what we've created. Access to that clientele.
Also, the training that you do, is it state specific?
It is not state specific. There'll still be some state specific nuance to it, but for the most part, Laura, do you want to speak to the specificity of the documents and things like that?
Sure. The documents that were used as samples happen to be California examples. However, the types of documents are the same types of documents for all the states. The Notarial Act may be different. It may be using a jurat in one state where it uses an acknowledgement in another state. But the types of documents are going to be the same. So when you learn with the sample documents we've provided, you're learning how to just describe in general terms what that document is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the important thing, is we're not creating the documents. We're not having to explain them from a legal perspective. It's just a very brief description. And luckily it's loosely standardized across the states, right?
It's so much easier than loan signings. Anybody who did loan signings first, this is a breeze compared to it, because every loan signing package I ever did, no matter how long I've been doing them, they're not the same. You know, there's 4 or 5 core documents, and after that, it's a free-for-all, and I never know what I'm going to face. But when I handle trust documents, the formatting might be slightly different, but the types of core documents that are in there are always the same, no matter who the attorney is, no matter what the software is on that. And I have handled out-of-state trust documents, and I found them, like I said, some are slightly different in notarization, but the documents are the same kind of document.
Okay.
Yeah. Great questions, Angela.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. What I found too, and I think there was a recent acquisition too, but there's really only 4 to 6 main software companies that provide these documentation, and like 90% of law firms and estate planning firms use one of those 4 or 5 software programs. So
same with mortgage. They do the same thing. There's like one or 2 big ones, and everybody uses the same documents, but yeah.
It's not going to vary too much from this.
How many documents are generally in a trust package?
That can vary a little bit. Usually I'm sorry, Jen, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say it usually requires 6 to 8 stamps.
Oh,
okay. Usually notarizations, maybe 100 pages or so, and there's no printing usually in trust. It's usually all printed by the attorney or by the client. And we have the website set up. Jen, do you mind posting that?
No, not at all. I had one saved already so quickly. I had already typed it out. I just wanted to mention early bird pricing for the NNA conference also ends December 1st.
I am already on that.
Okay.
I will post this right now for you.
Thank you. So we have a FAQ section. You can jump in, you can check some things out. We also have some free training that we've done on YouTube about the next big boom. And 10 keys to running a successful trust delivery online. Tons of free content on there as well for you. All right, great question. Angela, thank you again for being here. Let's move to Daniela, I think you're going to be our last question today, and you happen to be our last hand.
Oh, okay. I have two questions. I wanted to do a follow-up question regarding payment for specialty work. How do you guys feel about deposits? I find that people cancel those appointments a lot. They schedule them, but then they cancel. So I want to start implementing like a deposit so that I get something for my time because they're taking up a slot. Do you guys do that?
Great question. So I think Laura, I'm gonna volley this over to you for 1 second. But we have over 100 notaries on today's call. So if you have a different perspective or a perspective to share on whether you take, I saw Salisha call it a retainer, a deposit, whatever you might call it, please add that to the chat. And Laura, what do you say?
My perspective only is that I don't take deposits. I find that a lot of times the scope of the work is not exactly what they thought it was. And so I end up having to adjust. The other thing is I don't like to take money from the public unless I've provided service, meaning I actually went there. If I go there and they cancel, then I'll collect a travel fee, but I already drove there. So, for instance, last night I had one appointment and he said it was a refinance. So I quoted him for a refinance. He already had the documents. I get there, it's partial claim, which means there's 3 notarizations. It's not the same thing. And I had to requote him and say, you know, this is not a refinance. This is just a partial claim. And so I'm going to adjust. And it was much less money for him, which he was excited about that. Then the other situation was from that house, I probably got not even a mile to go to my next appointment. And I got a text saying, hey, there's problems with the documents. I have questions. I'd like to reschedule with you. And it was a third party making the arrangement. So the signer was reaching out to me. And I didn't take a deposit. I didn't say, oh, well, I've driven a mile your direction. So, you know, I need to get money for that. And that's just because I just feel like on the average, on the whole, I'm paid well. And that's just the cost of doing business for me. It may not be the same for some of you, and I get that, but that's my perspective.
Okay.
Great perspective. Thank you for that. And I'll just chime in too, Daniela. I've been burned a few times, sure, with people canceling or sometimes not having the type of payment or any and stuff like that. But it's a risk that I'm willing to take, and it ends up paying off greater in the long run. Like, just, I think if you take payment up front, you might turn some people off. And I just don't know if it balances out, at least for me, in that way. And I've always chosen to trust, and it seems to work out just the way it's supposed to.
Okay.
Any other
I'll
questions?
take that. No, that's it.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it, Daniela. Great question. That brings us right up exactly to the 1 hour mark. Thank you so much for being here on TNT, growing yourself and your business on a Tuesday. If you're part of NBB, we're going to see you at the new member orientation here at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, and the accountability call that starts at 3 p.m. There is power in accountability. If you're part of NBB, I hope to see you there. Thank you very much. And we'll see you same time, same place for TNT next week. Bye-bye. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.